Here I am with a brand new house design. This time it's a illuminated little cottage, and it's so much fun to customize with your own creativity. If you're in the mood to do some spring crafting, this is going to be a lot of fun. My favorite details on the house, besides the amazing three-dimensional flowers, are the windows that are inset. The windows being inset is something that's a little different than I've done on some other house designs. The most popular house that I have available is Balsam Manor over here, and the original version was red brick, which makes it look like the Home Alone house, and it looks really cool for Christmas. However, as you can see here, it looks like it has white siding instead of red brick. So that kind of variation just opens up a whole world of creative possibilities. One really fun way to get creative with your cottage structure is to change up the color scheme or the theme. So for example, if you are a fan of Halloween, perhaps you could make the roof black and sparkly. You could do the flowers, make them black and purple, add a jack-o'-lantern, make the door crooked, cut out a rectangle as like a board and put it in front of the window. So that kind of thing makes it really fun if you just want to give it a totally different vibe. I'm about to go over the assembly for this project step by step, and if you go in the description of this video, you can see every single step listed with a timestamp next to it. You can click on that timestamp to go directly to that step. If you have all of your pieces cut out with your cutting machine ready to put this baby together, let's go ahead and get started. First, we can start by identifying and categorizing the parts. First, I'm going to identify these petals and leaves, which you can see here in this first page of the PDF that comes with your download. You can print this out if you would like, or just look at it on your device or your computer. I like to print it out personally. So we have these petals here, which are here. You can certainly deviate from this and cut these out of different colors if you would like. I have these green pieces here, which I have here. Then I have a different green here, which is this. Then I have these periwinkle petals over here. I have these light purple petals, which I've separated into this one flower. And then these are similar. You don't have to have them exactly laid out like I do here. I just want to make it clear what's what in this video. Next, I have some medium purple petals, which I have here, as well as the dark purple, which is here. And next, I have the pink petals, which are also grouped with some roof panels. So at this point, I will actually take these roof panels, which you can see here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangles and an archway. And I'm going to put these with my walls, which are off camera. Then I have some more petals that are not shown on this petals and leaves section here, because they have been grouped with some other shapes to kind of use, to maximize your paper usage. So this is the roof 1 and roof 2 here. I've also put some petals in these parts, which are here and here. So you can certainly cut those out of different colors if you want to do that. If you're using Cricut Design Space and you're finding it difficult to separate these, you can look in your extras folder where this entire project is saved with its parts separated. So that's this, and this is here. Then the windows, which are here, which we'll get to soon, also have some petals in them, which are here, as well as some of these walls 1 and walls 3 here, also have some petals, which I have here. So I'm going to set this aside for now. Next, I have the roof, windows, and door. So the windows, I'll just move these out of the way. You can see the windows here. I suppose I should do them in order. We have the roof side panels here, which I have cut out of this nice pastel plaid. I also have the roof shingle panels, which I have cut out of pink mylar paper, which is completely crazy. This is the most extreme material I've ever cut with my cutting machine in my 15 years of paper crafting with a cutting machine. I got this from 12x12cardstock.shop, and you can certainly use any kind of paper, especially a specialty paper like glitter or shimmer paper. The mylar is kind of mind-blowing. So that's this. Then we have these roof pieces minus the petals here, which I have just all right here. Then I have this vellum, which goes with the windows. And then the door bottom and the door top is grouped in with the windows. Next we have the walls, which are made up of mostly ivory pieces, here, here, and here. Then I have some panels, and then I also have optional interior liners, which is, you're only going to need them if your house walls are a light color, such as mine are today. Because if they're a light color like this, the light shines through and illuminates all the panels that we're going to use to glue it together, and it just looks a little funny and distracting. So that's why this is optional. I'm going to move my fence off to the side. As you can see, that comes with this wall number 2 shape here. But let's start up here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 panels, plus the front porch has 3 panels. So again, I've moved this over here. It's not shown here because it came with some petals. So this is clearly side 2. These are the petals, or the panels that are here. Here's the back panel here. Here's this one, which is the first one. And then we've got the front, which is here. And then I've got my wall pieces here, along with some more rectangles. This is a bottom. I've got all of these wall pieces, which are here. So again, now the only thing I'm doing now is just categorizing and grouping and identifying them so that we're clear on what's what. I did not cut these out yet. I will have to cut these out. I kind of wanted to show how to tell if you're going to need them or not, which I know I'm going to need them because I already made this once, but we'll get to that in just a minute. But I don't have these right now. I am going to move this over to my top of my base pile of pieces, which is my next group of shapes that I would like to identify. So the fence is going to go with this. The base is 2 layers. The base is made up of a top layer and a bottom layer. This is the top layer that we have here, the base top. These are some side panels, which is the most amazing paper from 12x12cardstock.shop. It's called sequin glitter paper, and it's not your average glitter paper. It's like tiny little shapes. I guess they're circles, or maybe I don't know. They're incredible. I have this in a bunch of colors, and they just sent me some complimentary sequin glitter paper, and it's just TDF to die for. So I have all the shapes here for the base top, the sides. These are some interior boxes that are going to help hold it up. Then we have the base bottom, which is here. Again, it also has some side panels and some support boxes, a top panel here, and some sides. So those are all of the pieces. The PDF also shows some floral layout diagrams. So you can, of course, go completely rogue and do this however you would like. You can put these petals together in any way that you want. I just went ahead and showed exactly how I did it and where I put them on the sides and the front of the house. But we will get to that in a little bit. Next, I'm going to ink some panels. This part is optional, but I think it's a really nice effect. I'm going to start with some of the wall panels, and this is a technique that I like to do mostly on patterned paper panels such as these. And I got these ink pads from Amazon. I used to use some similar ones by Color Box, but unfortunately they are no longer making them, nor in business from what I understand. But these are very similar, these color petal ink pads from Amazon. And as you can see, it just adds a nice effect. It finishes off the shape and just looks really good. I think it's one of those techniques that puts your project above and beyond into the next level of awesomeness. So if you want to do that, you can go ahead and do that. Now is a good time. I don't think there's a huge rhyme or reason on what color to pick. You can certainly do whatever you'd like. I like to just choose a color from the paper so that it looks kind of natural and blends in. So this is black and white. I've picked a gray. I think that looks nice. You can kind of be a little messy with it if you want. I think that looks cool. Or you can be more precise. Or you can skip it all together, of course. So for this, I would pick a dark turquoise or a dark green. Just something that you're going to be able to see that won't be too distracting, I think is perfect. So it's a subtle touch, but it looks great. So this, I think I'll swap it out for the teal ink pad here. And it looks really good. So you can go ahead and do this to yours if you would like. I'm also going to be doing some inking on some of the flower petals, but not right now. So I will get to that in a little bit when we do the flowers. But if you want to do all of your inking and you just want to go ahead and put some on your flower petals right now, by all means, go for it. Sometimes when these are brand new, the ink comes on a little strong. I feel like once they get used a little bit, it's more of a nice effect. I suppose I could kind of dab off some ink if I really wanted to, but it looks okay. It's a little more dramatic than I would have liked, but it's okay. So those are my wall panels that I wanted to ink. I'll put those away and grab my roof panels. And the only inking I really want to do right now on these is just on these 4 pieces. I'll do this color. And that looks really good. This is a technique that I learned over 15 years ago when I went to a place called Archivers, which was an amazing scrapbook and crafting, paper crafting store. My local Archivers was in Downers Grove, Illinois, and they carried every kind of specialty paper you could imagine. Embellishments, ribbon, all the brands of paper that I don't really see in person anymore. It was really nice to just walk in and see all the graphic 45, the basic gray. I think Echo Park was doing paper also back then they were a little newer, maybe Cartabella, just everything, all the phenomenal papers they carried in person. So anyway, my mom and I went to Archivers probably back in like 2008, 2007, 2009. And we did a Valentine workshop there. And it was just a very simple, straightforward card. I don't think there was a cutting machine involved at all. But on some of the shapes, we did apply some brown ink like this to add a nice effect to the edges. And for a long time, I did brown ink on some edges of things. And then I kind of branched out to using different colors of ink. So as you can see, I could use brown on everything. That looks kind of cool and weathered, but this is a more subtle effect when you kind of pull a color from the patterned paper and use that on the edges, and it makes a nice finished look. Just looks really nice. So I will go ahead and do this to the rest of these plaid pieces, and then to this panel here. So I'm doing a nice green on this paper. It's lovely and very springy and cheerful. So let me know in the comments if you have a brick and mortar scrapbook store you like to go into, or if you used to. I don't know of any independent crafting stores near me anymore. I'm in the western suburbs of Chicago. We used to have a couple really cool places, but not so much anymore, which I don't know. I try not to think about it because it's a bummer. It used to be really fun. I do enjoy going into the big box crafting stores too, but there's just something about a little mom and pop shop that's really special. Next, we are going to put together our windows. I'm laying them on this paper so they're easier to see here. But I have my vellum, and then I have all of these pieces for my windows. And it might look like a lot, but each one is numbered. And I'm going to go ahead and darken in the numbers with a marker just so you can see them on camera better. You can do that too if you want to, but it's not required. But I've just oriented them so that the numbers are all right side up. And then I'm going to use a fine-tipped pen or marker or pencil or anything, it doesn't really matter, to make them more visible. I happen to have a gel pen, which I love these gel pens just for everyday writing, to the point where I have not been buying any other kind of pens when I run out of pens, because you know how they just they sprout legs and disappear. And they eventually do run out of ink. The other day I actually needed a ballpoint pen, and it was really hard to find one because of me only buying gel pens for writing. I needed to write a sentiment in a baby book as a card for a baby shower, and the gel pen is not great for that. It just gets smeary. So there are each of the pieces with the numbers darkened in. It's a little easier to see. And now I will just group them together. So 7 and 7, they're basically going to go like this. Like that. So, and 6 and 6. I have the world's oldest, now broken. It's really kind of gross looking, but I should probably try to clean it up since I film videos that, people like to watch. But It's the real deal right there. My broken 15-year-old Cricut spatula. Because the newer ones are not as thin. This is really thin, and it's really easy to use because of how thin it is. So I refuse to let it die a graceful death. I just have it out here for the world to see, all gross. All the grunge stuck to the stickiness. Sorry, guys and gals. Sorry, everyone. Okay, so there are our windows. Now we can start to fold them up and assemble them. So first we can fold and assemble window 1. So even though these are slightly different dimensions, they're all going to go together the same way. And I have recently been in a beef with solid score lines, so I'm actually using dashed cut lines for my fold lines, which is really easy to fold, which I love. I guess more on that later. You'll have to tell me your thoughts on the score lines. I've just been lately having a hard time getting an easy fold with the solid score lines in my Cricut Maker. I have the original Maker, and I'm not exactly sure if it's maybe there's something wrong, but I kind of just got a little fed up and I tried some dashed cut lines instead, which is the default way of folding all of my designs. So it's nice and easy to fold, and it still looks awesome. So this is how the window is going to get folded. And then I can glue it. Stop the presses. I'm using Barely Art glue, precision craft glue, and it's really nice. I've been branching out with my glue. Oops. And I find it quite similar to the Scotch glue. I do like the precision tip a lot. And Barely seems to have a nice business philosophy about giving back to the community, which is really nice. As far as the functionality of the glue, I feel like it's great, just like the Scotch quick dry glue and just like the art glitter glue too. There's also a fourth one that someone recently told me about, and it fits in some kind of like glue gun thing that has really great reviews. I am not remembering the name of the glue nor of the device that the glue bottle goes into right now. But that's certainly something to check out because it had a lot of reviews and they were all amazing for the glue device with the glue. So here's window number 1. As you can see, I glued all those tabs down just like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. So all I'm gonna do is the same exact thing with the rest of the windows. And I don't feel like I need to show that since it's the same thing for 6 more of the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll skip ahead together. And don't forget, if you wanna pause the video, you can just press the space bar if you're watching this on a desktop or a laptop computer. Nice and easy peasy. So I'm just doing the same thing I did with window number 1 for window number 2, and then I'll do that with all of them. Perhaps I'll show one more large window that's nice and easy to see. And then we can skip ahead to them all being done. So you can see that, and this, like that. This is really something that makes the Viola villa special, are the way that these windows are shaped and inset. And it's really pretty easy peasy. And this is going to go like this. I feel like this is one of those details that strikes the balance between easy enough to do, but it's detailed enough that it makes it special. It's a special detail on the project, but it's not so detailed that it's difficult to do. Next, we'll be folding and gluing these little vellum pieces on. And 2 and 3 don't have vellum, so I'm going to put those off to the side. We're just dealing with these now. And 1 and 4 are identical, and then these are different. So I can see that these 2 are also identical. They're going to go with 1 and 4. Then the next biggest is 5. Then 7 matches up, this matches up. So I'm going to flip these over. And then these can go either way. And I'll just fold over all 4 sides. Then I'll put glue on those tabs and I'll just glue them onto the windows like this. So you can go ahead and do that for all 5 of these windows here. So there's our windows. Next we can fold and label our walls. So here's my pile of wall pieces. I'm going to set the panels and small parts aside, and we're going to label and fold walls 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's these here. The others I will set aside. So again, I'm going to take my trusty pen, marker, whatever you want to use. And you don't have to do this also, but I'm doing it so you can see better in my video. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we can fold these along their score lines. So I forgot to ask earlier, I wanted to know how, well, first of all, how do you like your cutting machine? Second of all, how do you feel about score lines? Are you enjoying any solid score lines? Do you use the dashed cut lines for folding? They're both pretty great. I had been using the solid score lines with my Cricut Maker for years, and lately I've been using the dashed cut lines because they're just easier to fold. But perhaps my machine needs some kind of adjusting. I also have two friends who are using the solid score lines with their cameo, their silhouette cameo, which I didn't think was possible, but I guess there's a workaround where you can use maybe an embossing tool. I don't know if that's sanctioned by Silhouette or not, but that's pretty interesting, I thought. So tell me in the comments how you feel about your cutting machine and score lines. I would love to hear. Next, I'm going to place and affix my windows, and I have them here. So I suppose I should lay out my walls in order here, just to be straightforward with everything. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 doesn't have any windows. This is the back. So I've got my windows here. So 1 and 4, which are the same, are going to be going here. 2 and 3 are also the same and tiny. They go here. Then we just have these left. And process of illumination should be pretty easy to tell where they go. This one is the smallest, goes here. This goes here, and this goes here. So now we're just going to glue each of these into place by putting glue on 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs, and then gluing that into place on your wall. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down each of these windows, just like that. So if you're making this project, I would love to hear in the comments of this YouTube video. You'll have to just, even if you don't want to add a ton of detail, if you just say, I'm making this, that would be awesome to hear and to see. Or if you've made it. I wish there was a way to share a photo in the comments on YouTube. However, you could certainly share a photo on any other social media. I would love to see on any anywhere, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X. Is it Twitter or is it X? I did have forgot my password and it came from Twitter instead of from X, so I got a little unsure what we're calling it because I thought it was just X now, but just kidding. I don't use that too much as SVG cuts. There is, of course, also Pinterest, which I have a presence on. I like to say we, although it's just me. It's just me, guys. The we. You know, the we, I would like for it to be a we because I need there to be another of myself. I need two of me's. So that kind of makes it like a hopeful we. But I, SVG Cuts, Mary, am active mostly on Facebook, Instagram, every now and then on TikTok, not too much, not so much the others. I need to get more onto Pinterest because craftiness is wonderful. But anytime you see me on, I keep saying us, anytime you see something on any of those, if you could comment, that would be great. It would help me reach a wider audience, which I would appreciate so much. So there are the windows. Next, we're going to affix the wall panels and the door. So this I'm going to set aside, as well as these roof parts. But these are pretty easy to tell where they go. And this is one of the fun parts. Oopsies. One of the most fun parts of doing this, I think, is this step, because you can really start to see the house coming together, and adding the pretty paper is always a lot of fun. And this is the bottom. So now I'm just going to glue those panels on. Easy peasy. So this is probably a case where maybe the precision tip is not necessary. I actually kind of right now would prefer just a regular tip, which I could switch this out for a regular tip. It comes with the precision and with the regular, or I could just grab a glue that's already got one, such as my old handy dandy Scotch. It's called No Run Tacky Glue. It's also called Quick Dry Adhesive, so that's a little confusing. But it's easy to recognize if you're at any store where craft supplies are sold. There's usually just one Scotch glue that's prominently displayed, and that's usually it. I've seen it at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, even at Meijer, the grocery store, the big box grocery store. Probably Walmart, I think I've seen it. I'm not sure. You know, I usually just end up grabbing it when I'm at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or from Amazon. But it's nice and easy to find, which is a selling point for this glue. So if you're having a glue emergency, you'll have to let us know, and let us all know. Let me know, let the other viewers know. Where do you usually get your craft supplies? What kind of glue do you like? Have you tried various glues? Also, let us all know what you think about crafting in general. especially paper crafting. What's your favorite part? Sort of when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the zone, in the flow. Is that your favorite part? Or when you're all done and you see your finished design and you're enjoying it? Maybe do you like to gift your creations or display them? I can also go ahead and glue this door together and then glue it here. Makes sense. So I will glue that. I think it's nice when you can just kind of tune out the world a little bit and do something creative. And especially if you have a crafting buddy, that can be fun. Sometimes it's some of the best relaxed conversations can be nice when you're crafting with another person, or just listening to a movie or a podcast or something, or music. What's your crafting style? I do love the fact that my daughter enjoys crafting time, which usually involves, at this time in our lives, it usually involves a lot of adhesive gemstones, which I found a good deal on bulk adhesive gemstones, like bling, on Amazon. And it's really fun to just put them all over something. We got some little wooden houses that from Michael's that light up with a little button battery, which is not ideal, but they're cute. So we painted some of them a little bit. She did most of it, and she put adhesive gemstones all over them, and they look really cool. And she had a lot of fun doing it, and it occupied her and satisfied her creativity needs for a little while. It was a lot of fun. But of course, crafting with kids depends on their age, their skill level, and all that good stuff. Next, I'm going to glue piece 3 inside here. So first I'm going to assemble it. Oops. First I'm going to assemble it like this, basically. And then these other tabs are going to be going out. So everything's a regular valley fold mountain fold, except for here and here, here and here. Those are valley folds. So there's this, we can put it inside there, but I will go ahead and put its bottom in place, which is this lone little rectangle here. And I can glue that right inside. I just put a couple messy dots of glue in there. Just like this. Next, we're going to glue these together side to side. So 1, 2, 3 is inside there. So it goes right to 4 and then 5. So we'll glue those together side to side. And then we can close it up by gluing together this final seam. Next, I have my lights plugged in and we're gonna do a lighting check. So here's my house so far. Before we go any further, I would like to see if I'm gonna need the interior liners that are in the extras folder. So to see if they're necessary, we can put our lights in. And all the lights are a little different, all the paper's a little different. So the best way to tell if you're gonna need the liners is just to go ahead and take a peek. And the roof is going to be covered up with more paper, so it's not a good, you can see the lights through the roof right now, but it'll be covered up with more paper later. So what I'm gonna do is, it's kind of hard to see on camera, But if I look at the house from this angle, you can see that the light is shining through. If I pick it up, it's not quite the same. Hold on. So what I mean is you can see these tabs here with the light shining through. You can see where those are. So in my case, I will add the interior liners, and you can decide what you want to do. Some are easier to see than others. This one's kind of okay, but I'm just going to go ahead and add the interior liners. If you're happy with the way yours looks without them, then that's great. I am going to use this medium gray for my interior liners. I think any kind of neutral, medium colored, solid paper is going to work perfectly. So here are my pieces, and I will affix them inside my cottage structure here. So I'll just be gluing these on the inside. These two go inside the porch. This one goes on the inside too. And the rest of them are pretty apparent where they go on the inside. Also, we've got the front and the back and the other side here. So this doesn't have to be super perfect, but you do want to make sure that it's well within the inside there. In other words, you don't want it to be sticking out the bottom, blocking this from folding over or blocking any other folded areas. So I guess it does need to be fairly precise, but it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. But that's what we're going to do. So we'll just glue the rest of them inside the house. Oh no, did I just do that wrong? No, I did not. Okay, good. Okay. So now this will go inside just like this. Perhaps it's better to see what I'm doing here as I'm doing it. Okay, so that's that. The front and the back are both symmetrical, so they can go oriented either way. I've got the back in as well. I'll just put the porch parts in. And the sides of the porch are also symmetrical. So they could be swapped or flipped. That goes just like that. So just like that. Now my light will be blocked just perfectly. Next I can insert and affix the bottom, which I have here. Nice and easy peasy. technically, since this will be sitting on top of a base, we could just skip the bottom, but I think it's going to help the house hold its shape to have it. So for that reason, we will do a bottom. I like to try to think of how to conserve paper, but still have a good finished product. So now it seems really tempting to close this up, but I'm gonna wait because when we put this on top of the base, it'll be nice to be able to put your hand inside there to press down on it. So for now, we're gonna set this aside. Next for the base is 2 layers, a top and a bottom, and we're gonna start with the top, which I have here. These are going to get affixed to it, but I'm going to put these with my flower petals for now because I'm going to put those on when I put the flowers on. I have cut my panels for this out of this amazing sequin glitter paper that I can't get enough of. It's like mind-blowing. So cool. From 12 by 12 cardstock.shop. I think that's the only place you can get it because I think they actually make it. I think it's actually their product. I could possibly be wrong, but I think it's their thing. So we have some interior support boxes that don't have a bottom to conserve paper but help support the whole thing. We've got 2 pieces like this here, and then we've got our sides. So we're going to start by identifying and folding the sides. So again, there are some numbers on the sides, on the ends of each of these sides. You don't have to darken it in with a marker. You can, but you don't have to. I will do that because it makes it easier to see in this video. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I can go ahead and fold along the fold lines. Some of them have a very small cut line there. That's a guideline, so we don't need to fold on that. Whether you're using dashed cut lines for folding or solid score lines, either way, you're going to see this very small guideline there, and it's not a fold line. There's another one right there. That is an actual fold line. Just like that. Next, we can glue these together side to side. So we will be gluing, we'll glue the sides together side to side. So 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Very straightforward. And then I'm going to affix the side panels to this. So I'll take these. We have two smaller ones that are the same size, a longer one, and then a medium-sized one. So this long one is going to go right here, which is the front, but I'm going to wait to put that on because it's going to be curved. These are the curved areas, and when it's curved, you could probably just glue it on and curve it, but it gets kind of weird. So we're going to curve it first and then glue it on. But these are all straight, so we can just go ahead and glue the back and the side and the other side right on. So let's go ahead and do that. Anytime you can glue something while it's laying flat, obviously that's going to be easier. And easier to film too, which is always nice. I have so many ideas, you guys. Sometimes I get a little overwhelmed that I can't just work on all my ideas. Because there's a lot of other stuff to take care of, and I do struggle with that. What made me I was going somewhere with that, and I've like gone on a tangent. I forget what my point was. Oh, that it's easier to film, because I love showing you how to do this the easiest way possible. But I wish I had a clone of myself so that my clone could maybe get this done while I do some more of my ideas that I have and some other stuff. It's a lot. Comment below if you have more ideas than you can possibly do. I'm sure you can relate. So next we're going to close the loop. So I'm going to kind of bend these a little more, and then we'll close the loop like this. And like this. Okay. Now I will affix the front panel, and I might even take something like this and kind of do a little curvy curve to make it easier to do this. Lovely. There we go. Okay. Next, we're gonna affix the top inside. It could go, it can go this way or it can go this way. Does not matter. And both of these are tops. It's not gonna have a bottom. These are the support boxes too, which I think I said already, but that's okay. I'm going to move these out of the way a little bit so we can get our top inside. think I'll crease these a little bit more. Okay, so this one is not even going to be seen, but it's going to get glued on the inside just like this. And it'll kind of hold the shape to make it easy to put this one on. So technically I could start with just the back and anchor the back and then do the rest. I'm feeling pretty confident about just going ahead and doing all of them at once. Next, I'm going to assemble and affix the support boxes inside. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to put them in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. And they get folded just like that. Just like this. So this can go here, that's fine. But if I move it over, it's gonna help give these something to rest on. So that could be nice. I think I will do that. I feel like either way is fine. Oh wait. No. Next, we can affix the top to, not this side, the other side, to finish it off like this. So there's the top of our top, the top base. is put together, the top part of the base is. Now we can put together the bottom part of the base. So here's the bottom of my base. I'm gonna put these side panels out of the way, the top panel, support boxes. This is gonna be pretty similar to the last one. It's got the sides, and then it has a top and a bottom, and they're all identical. So there's 4 pieces like this. You could probably figure out in a pinch how I would put this together. Uh-oh, we've got white on white. It's a little tough to see. I'm gonna write the numbers. That was a 1. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've used a marker to darken in the numbers on each one to identify them. Now we can fold them. And again, some of these have a very small cut line that's a guideline, so you don't need to fold that. But we can fold all the tabs over on each one. Two also has a guideline. Three gets folded. Next we can affix the panels. Each one is a little different of a length, but they correspond with each of these. Obviously that's the smallest, that's the next biggest, this is the longest. So for 3 and 4, we can just glue them, lay them flat and glue them on. And then this we can glue on, but as it dries, I'm going to curve it a little bit as it dries. Here and here. Maybe take a straight edge and kind of, maybe not. Just a little bit of a curve will help it out a little bit. Next, we can glue these together side to side. So 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Then we can close the loop. Next, I'm going to crease these a little bit more on one side and then flip it over and fold them a bit. And then on the other side, I will fold the tabs out of the way a little bit. It looks a little asymmetrical because it's kind of skewed, but I just checked and it's good. It's just a little misshapen, but it is symmetrical. I just freaked out a little bit. I'm like, oh my gosh, don't tell me I goofed this up. I don't want to go back to the drawing board at this point, but we're good. It's hard to believe that this is okay, but it is. So next, I'm going to take one of these 4, and this will go on the inside. Just like this. So make sure the back and the sides are nice and snug. And then the rest should fall into place nicely, just like that. Phew, it did, it worked. That's good. Next, I'll flip it over and glue another of these right on top. This is going to be the top of the bottom base. Next, I'm going to create and affix the support boxes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these get folded just like this. Just like that. So we can go ahead and make all 5 just like that. Then we can glue them each in just like this. It doesn't have to be perfect, just get them in there in this general layout. Next, I'll affix the bottoms. This part's probably the trickiest. because as you close it up, you can't really get in there to make it just perfect. So just do your best. And this piece is basically kind of holding its shape for us. You can glue it on, or you can just leave it like this. Then I'm going to fold these over. And then I will glue the bottom on the bottom. It's the bottom on the bottom. It's perfect. So that just needs some glue. If you want to sign and date your design, now's probably a good time to do that. If you want to write your name and the date on the bottom, why not? I've actually never ever done that, but I probably should. Someday on Antiques Roadshow, they'll say, this is from Mary from SVG Cuts, signed and dated. It'll be my great grandchildren who will treasure all my bins of my paper projects. I'm sure they'll treasure some of them, but it's too much to treasure all of it. They'll have to share it with the world. If the world's interested, if they're still holding up by then. So there's the bottom. I'm gonna do it because this one's actually to my daughter, so I'm gonna write to Grace from what's today? It's February 28th. Oh, it's the last day of February 24. Next, I can affix the top panel like so. Oopsies. Now I can affix the bases together and the building. So I'm going to flip these up a little bit so I can ensure that they make contact. And then add some glue. And I'll make sure that's nice and centered. I'm going to take a little extra time to kind of gently press on this while it's drying to make sure that it's really smushed together. Next, I'll affix the building to the base. It's a little hard to see exactly, but it's going to be centered. Obviously. So you want it to have an even border around the back and the sides. So there's that. I can clean it up a little bit. I don't have my straight pin handy. I like to keep a straight pin handy if I have a little bit of glue that I can scrape off. But I will carefully fold these out of the way so I can press down from here. And I will spend a little extra time pressing this down as it dries so that it really takes hold along the edges, just so it's not like sticking up. Obviously gapping and stuff is nice. So here's my straight pin, and I will just scrape away this excess glue. There was some there. Oops. Just a little technique that comes in handy. Here's a good example. Just like that. Next, we can close up the building's roof here with some glue on each of these. And this. Next, for the roof assembly, I have my pieces here. I've got the side panels, the shingles, the chimney parts, the top of the roof, and then these are the bases of the shingles. This is the roof itself. So here's our shingle parts. This goes on the top, chimney, and side panels. First, I'm going to fold the shingle bases, which is pretty easy peasy. Just folding them in half. And it could be a good time to use a bone folder if you want, to give it an extra crease. Next we can affix the shingles to the shingle bases, and as you can see there, it goes up, then down, then up. So we're gonna glue them on, paying attention to that. So I'll just do this so it's easier to see. And then I will be gluing these on so that they line up. So this will go here. Oops, not like that. Like this. So when the straight line is at the top, it's going to go on the top, but it also corresponds to the shape at its bottom. So this could go here, but it wouldn't go here, and it wouldn't go down here. So this has a wavy line and a straight bottom, goes like this and corresponds like so. So like that, and then like this. So you can pair them up like that. They get paired up like this. So the outside of a pair forms a rectangle, and then there's a swoosh through it. And then it corresponds with a folded shingle base. It's been probably like maybe even a month since I designed this, and I've had a brain fart about how that works for a second, but we're good. There's just so much that goes into getting a new design released that it takes some time between parts, and sometimes it's hard to remember exactly how it works. So that's how it's going to get affixed, not in this particular order. When we put it on the actual roof, we'll make sure that we have them alternating. But for now, what you want to do is affix the shingles to the bases. So you can glue them on just like that. If you're using regular paper, glue is going to be great. Since I'm using this see-through paper, it's actually Mylar, I'm going to use these mini adhesive squares to glue mine on. And it'll take me a little bit longer, so I'm going to put a dot in each corner. And then affix it like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that. However you need to affix yours. Sounds great. Next, let's affix the 4 rectangular side panels. And these are super cute. I love this patterned paper. So fresh and cheerful. It looks springy, but it also looks like it could be just an everyday cheerful kind of pattern. So these being in place will help us see where to put the shingles on here. And next we can affix the strips of shingles. Affix the strips of shingles is kind of a tongue twister, but I did it. I did it, guys and gals and people. So I have these alternating down, 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 down. Okay, like that. So let's just say that I want to put them like this and like this. That seems great. So first I'm going to glue this there, and then I'll glue this here, and then this here. As you can see, there's some guidelines here. There's a one there, one there, one there, and there. This is pretty easy to see where this goes because it aligns with the bottom, but you can also use these two guidelines to help. So I'm just going to put a strip of glue along the top. And then glue that down. Then I'll take the next one and put a strip of glue there and line it up with these two guidelines here. More or less. Doesn't have to be super perfect. So that looks really cool. We can just turn this around and do the same thing here. Next, I'm going to create and attach the chimneys. And these are my chimney panels. Now is a good time if you wanted to emboss them to add some texture. Now would be a great time for that, which I will do. If you're not familiar with embossing, this is a nice way to add some texture to flat shapes, such as panels like this. There are lots of different embossing machines out there and folders, but they all do the same thing. And from what I understand, they're all interchangeable. Mine happens to be a Sizzix Big Shot. And this folder is called Bricked by Sizzix. And I ran it through without making it super of a deep impression because I don't know. I don't know why. I think I didn't want they're so small. I thought they might rip or something. But anyway, I have a slight brick texture on these pieces. So to put the chimneys together, they're the same. They're just mirror images of each other. And it's pretty clear to see where the panels go. So it's going to be okay. So this is it. It's going to be going together like this, and then like this, and then like this. But first, while it's flat, let's put its panels on, which is, there's a wide one, and then two like that. These each have a rounded bottom. The bottom corners of each of these panels is rounded to help you see that it's the bottom. In case you are embossing it, or if you're trying to place it, you can tell that that's the bottom. Hopefully that makes it easier to put it in the right place. I try to do stuff like that to make it as easy as possible to tell where things go. So hopefully that helps you. So I'm going to glue those panels on, and these on. Just like this. Because if all the panels were just a bunch of squares, you might not be sure which way they go and all that stuff. So also these go on the top. So I've got the wide one, those two, and this, and this. So go ahead and glue those panels into place. So now is also a good time if you would like to do any inking to bring out the texture on anything. If you've embossed it, it does look good. You could go down with one color and then up with another color. So I've taken a light brown, like a tan ink pad too, on here. Just kind of add a little interest. So next I will put these together. And this one will be the same, just a mirror image. To attach them to the roof, I'll just be gluing it inside like this on both sides. So I'll start by gluing these two larger tabs. Next, I can affix the roof onto the house. So to do that, I will just put some glue on the roof here. And we still have that long skinny rectangle piece that's coming up next. So the sides of the chimney kind of fit over the corners there a little bit, like that. Just like this. It is so cute. This would be such a cute little Easter house. I feel like you can make it with any theme depending on the colors and the patterned papers that you use, which I feel like I say that a lot, but it's certainly true in this case. We can also create and attach this roof here, which is made up of these pieces. And we can also put this in place. So this just gets glued right onto the roof like this, and we'll need to hold it for some extra time while it really takes hold. But I will just put some glue on it and then put that in place. I think I went a little too crazy with my glue there. So just like that, but then I will hold it in place while it dries for some extra time. So I went ahead and embossed the panels on this front porch roof here with this cute little flower texture. This is the Just My Type embossing strip by Cuttlebug. This thing is ancient. It should be in a museum. It's over 15 years old. In crafting years, that's some staying power. So that gets folded like that. This like this. And these I will glue on. Whoops. So I'll glue these on just like this. And this like that. So now this can get glued onto this front porch roof part. I feel like a lot of this you could just figure out without my tutorial here, but you'll have to let me know. Hopefully, the way that in the description I have all of these different sections listed with a timestamp so you can jump ahead to any section. Hopefully that helps, especially if you feel like you don't need to see. Like if you didn't need to see that because you could tell what to do already, then you can easily jump ahead to the next thing on the list. You'll have to let me know how you feel about that. Next, we can start embellishing our house. We can start with the fence, and I went ahead and embossed the little fence panels with this distressed stripe embossing folder by Cuttlebug. I was gonna neatly just get all these off, and now I'm just like, get out of there. Okay, there. Distressed stripe, also ancient. Belongs in a natural history museum. So those can get glued onto our fence. And I might just kind of hit it with a little pink ink also. Next, we can affix this to our little house. Just like this. So it doesn't have to be perfect, just right there in the corner. Looks adorable. And since I'm going to be gluing this to glitter paper, I'm going to have to use a hot glue gun. So I'm just going to put some dots of glue probably on the bottom of each of these and just hold it while it affixes. Next, we're going to put together the flowers, and I'm going to go in order that they're shown in the PDF here, which starts with the front wall and fences. You can see it there. You can totally do the flowers wherever and however you want, obviously, but if you would like to place them the same way that I did, that's why I'm showing them here in this diagram. And then for each of them, I'm showing the parts that make it up, and there's 3 of them. This makes it up in one. They're the same. This one just doesn't have a leaf behind it. There's one of these. There's 3 like this, and I drew some stuff with a marker. Again here, there's 2 of those. And then this one big one. So that's all the stuff that's going on the front, and I will do those in order. I have an upside down mouse pad here, and I also have a ball stylus. I'm calling it a ball stylus. I'm not even sure if that's what it's called, but it's used like this to create a curve, like a concave sort of shape. So it makes the flowers lifelike and lovely. So I'm just going to grab 2 of these petals and do that like this. I could even do it on the petals here, which they're getting a little creasy, but they're also getting a little curvy. You can just play around with it and see what looks cool and lifelike to you. That looks pretty cool and lifelike to me. So just like that. And then for the leaves, you could just kind of fold it a little bit. And then we can glue it together. So I'll put a dot of glue there. And then I have some craft tweezers that are not necessary, but I feel like you can see better in this video perhaps. If if my hands are not in the way. Maybe. So there's one flower. You can go ahead and make the other two that are just like this, and then the other one that's just like this but without the leaves. So next I'll make the yellow viola like this. So I have them laid out here the way that they're shown in the PDF. That's the center, these two, that one and the two leaves. This is a little bit pointier. It's facing up compared to this. Not that it probably really matters, but of the two, there's this side and there's this side. This one is a little pointier, so I've got pointy facing up, if that makes sense. It's just a small detail. I'm gonna draw 5 little lines, or 4 or 3 is probably fine too, and then just like 1, 2, 1, 2. It's a little bit lighter than I really wanted it to be. I might just darken that in a little bit. There we go. The darker purple, oopsies. You know, it's not perfect, but it's gonna have the same effect that I wanted it to have. So again, I'll just fold the leaves kind of in half a little bit. Boom, boom. And then for these, once again, I'll take my ball stylus and go around in a small circle in the middle to just add that dimension. So then I'll repeat that with 2 more. Well, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll put it together first. Then there's 2 more to make. Just like that. And, oh, I forgot this. So we'll glue it like that. So there's our pretty little viola. I can go on top of these 2. There's no right or wrong way to put the leaves on. I'll probably do it a little differently for each flower to make it more realistic. And there we go. So you can make the other 2 the same way. And then for this purple one, it's the same, except it just has orange marker instead of the purple. So the orange marker is a little more intense on these ones. I just realized is the way that I did it originally. So a couple lines or more, either way, whatever you think looks nice. You can always reference photos of purple violas and see what strikes your fancy and try to replicate it. So I have a lot of these together. They look really pretty, and I'm just laying them on the sheet that they go on. Next, I will do this one here, and I'm just gonna give these some dimension with the ball stylus and then glue them together. Next, for the large pink flower on the front, I have the petals here, and I've gone ahead and started doing this with my ball stylus on top of the upside down mouse pad. You can do this to cup the petals. You can do it in the middle to kind of make it shaped like that. And you can certainly put this together however you'd like. This is a nice little technique here. So doing that adds a nice effect. Then some of these larger petals, it might be a little too big for that to work very well. I can certainly try. But I might just, I mean, it's a little bit curved. It's a nice effect. You can do that to some of them, or you can fold them and bend them. You can do this in the center. So I can also do it like this, kind of curve the end. Like this, and then do that. So I'll do that to these also. Then I've just kind of folded these like this. I put a dimensional dot on the back here. I left the backing on, but I have some of these dimensional foam dots. I think I will use one here. And then some glue. And you don't need to do yours the exact same way as me, but of course I'm going to show you how I'm doing it. but feel free to get creative if you want. So let me know in the comments, are you the type of crafter with this kind of a thing where you like to do it the same way step by step? Or do you like to deviate and do your own thing? Both ways are wonderful. I know there are some people like to follow step by step every little thing, which I totally understand. And then some people like to just do it their own way, which I also totally get. So I want to make it easy for both styles of crafter, but let me know what kind of style you think you are, or if you have both traits, both ways. I guess it could depend on your level of what you feel like your expertise level is. So that looks really nice. I love that. It's hard to believe that those little pieces of paper turned into this. So that does it for all the flowers that are on the front wall. And this too. So I'll set this aside. Next, for the side wall one, I have one of these, 3 of these, 2 of these, which is the same thing but with no leaf, and then just one larger one, this vine, and then 3 of these. So first we can make the first one, which is this. I think a good technique for this will be to do this on the edges. And then put it on the upside down mouse pad and do a little circular motion with the ball stylus to make it curve like that. So I'm pretty much going to do that to all of these leaves here. These are a little too large for that to work. Maybe there are some new techniques for making paper flowers. I haven't been keeping up with them. But this is a pretty cool technique. So these are still a little too large for this to really do much. I'm just going to do this again. And then these might be small enough for this to work. Just like that. So now I can just glue these together. So that looks really nice. I like that. I think I will go ahead and put a foam dot on the back, but I'll leave the backing on for when I'm ready to put it on. So these purple ones are just like the white ones that we just did. So I don't think I need to show you the same exact thing again, the different color. And then this is also the same, but there's no marker on these, but they go together the same as the other violas that we just did. So for the dark purple viola, something that's going to make it look even cooler is like a dark purple or dark blue ink pad around the edges of the shapes. It's a little tedious, but it's really going to add that effect that makes it look like a real viola flower. For the floral layout for sidewall 2, you can see that in your PDF menu. There are some more violas that go together like this. They're slightly different than the ones that we did, so we'll put one of these together. Then we have these, which are the same as the ones we've already done, and they have some blue marker on them. It's like a periwinkle blue flower. Then these are like the white ones that we just did. So is this, it's the same, it's just a different color. And this has a four leaf behind it. So that should be pretty straightforward. Then I'll put together this one on here. Then it'll be time to put them on the house. Now for the floral layout of sidewall 2, I'm just going to put together one of these, and then this large purple flower here. First for this, I will draw some little marker lines. Just something along these lines is going to be great. It doesn't have to be exactly like that. Next, I'll do my little cupping technique here. And I'll just kind of fold these leaves a little bit. And then oh, I also forgot this center here. And so when I originally made all of my flowers, I think I just used my hands. So you can certainly do that. I just feel like using these reverse tweezers might be easier for you to see in this video so that my hands are not blocking everything. So if you want something else that looks nice too, maybe a little glitter, I have some ancient glitter glue or stickles or whatever you have. If you have anything laying around, anything similar, that can be a nice touch too. Just like that. Super cute. So now you can use these diagrams in your PDF. If you want to place the flowers the same way, you can use them to place them on the front like this. And on the side wall like this. You can of course do it differently, but there's that wall. And finally this wall also, side wall too, which looks like this. Now let's go ahead and put our lights inside. So I've got these warm white LED lights that I got from Amazon. I think they're perfect for this kind of thing because they stay cool, which is the nice thing about LED lights, but they're energy efficient. But these are also warm white, so they don't have that like blue, cool blue glow that some LED lights can have. So I plugged them in and I'm just kind of keeping them like this. I could put the twist tie back on them that they came with, but I'm just gonna feed them inside. Super easy and simple. I could kind of spread them out, but I think that it's fine just like that. And then it looks amazing when it's glowing, especially when the light is a little bit lower. You can really see. So these lights, just like all the other supplies, will be linked in the video description and on this designs page at svgcuts.com. So there you have it. That's it. That's how to put together every single part of this little adorable cottage. I hope you enjoyed making it. Also, let me know what kind of cutting machine you're using and if you like it, what you think about it. If you make this project, please do share a picture with us on Facebook, Instagram, however you like to share. I always love to see, and so do the rest of our crafty friends. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time, and happy crafting.